The success of your novel depends heavily on your characters, and the whole story usually revolves around them anyway. That is why it is crucial to write characters that are interesting, distinctive, and memorable. My name is Hadiza Bagudu. I am an author and a poet, and I am here to teach you how to write memorable characters that your readers will love and relate to ensure the success of your novel. This episode of my creative writing series titled How to Write Memorable Characters and using the Nigerian novel and African Nights Entertainment, we are going to examine what makes a great character and how to write them in such a way that the reader will be hooked from the beginning and be totally invested in the journey of the character until the very end. So, what makes a memorable character? Number one, flows. Your character must be flawed. That's right. Your character must have some flaws. They should not be perfect. Why? Because nobody is perfect and everybody wants to know that they are not alone in their pain. Normally, you see, people want to find somebody that is just like them, somebody that they can relate to. That's what hooked them. Seeing your character have a flaw that they must work on is what will make your reader sympathize with the character and become invested in their growth. A character that started with a flaw of some sort will have to work on it and either win or lose in the end. That is the journey. For example, in An African Night's Entertainment by Cyprian Akwensi, the three main characters, Alhaji Shehu, Abubakar, and Zainabu, all had flaws. For Alhaji Shehu, it was his inability to have children, and he will do anything to get that child. While for Abubakar, his poverty, his low self-esteem. Low self-esteem usually comes along with poverty. So, he already feel inadequate. And knowing, seeing that Alhaji Shehu is interested in his girl, the girl that was betrothed to him, and seeing that she's actually falling for Alhaji, you can imagine how he feels. That is his own flaw. While on the other hand, Zainab, well, she is easily deceived, as you can see. That is her own flaw. And the three of them took us on a journey of their flaws to an interesting but satisfying end. Number two, every character has fears and dreams. They must be afraid of something. They must be afraid of something, but despite being afraid of that thing, they will do anything to overcome that fear. They will do anything to fight for that thing at the same time. For example, as you can see, our Abubakar, he was afraid of losing Zainab. He was afraid of losing Zainab, especially to a rich man. And when it happened, what did he do? He went on that journey. He fought. Despite the fact that he was afraid, he made a lot of horrible things. He made a lot of things that should make him afraid. And he was afraid, yes, but he was able to fight them. Alhaji Shehu on the other one as afraid of dying, without leaving a child behind. Who will inherit him? That was his biggest fear. And of course, there is this stigma of a man not having any child. So he was afraid of that. And that's why he had to do everything in his power to get Zainab. So your character must be afraid of something, but at the same time, they must have a dream that is so powerful that they will face that fear head on in order to achieve that dream. It is the conflict of the story that must be resolved by the end, and it is overcoming of that conflict, also coming to that conflict that makes the character worth investing in, and it keeps the reader also interested in the story. We want to know what happened. How did they do it? What will they do? How will they face that fear? We need to know. Number three, a clear goal. Your character must have a clear goal. What they want to go after, and that goal must be clear to the reader from the beginning, or at least towards the middle. The reader must understand, okay, what is that character trying to achieve? Where is he going? What is the point of this story? And again, coming back to An African Night Entertainment, Alhaji Shehu's goal is to have a child, by all means. Abubakar, revenge. because after losing his girl, what else is there but revenge? And he must do anything. He will move mountains in order to get his revenge. So, and the scariest villain, it is better if the reader knows from the beginning, because if you keep the reader in suspense, you can only keep the reader in suspense for a short time before they get bored, before they give up. But if they know from the beginning, then they will now be interested in how that character is going to achieve that goal. What are they willing to do? How far they are willing to go? And you should understand, you should also know that the scariest villains, the most terrifying of villains, are those ones that actually believe in a cause. That when they do something, when they go after something, they believe that they must do it. They believe that they must get that thing at all costs, regardless of the casualties that follow. For example, I know we are talking about an African Night Entertainment, but I like to talk about Thanos, for example, from the Avengers series. As you can see, Thanos actually believed that he is doing the right thing. That is the scariest part. He believes he is helping humanity by killing half of the universe. That is terrifying, because you cannot reason with a person like that. Those make the most terrifying kinds of villains. And going back to an African Night Entertainment, Abubakar also believes he is doing the right thing, you know, despite the fact that even the demon in the forest herself, that scary demon, actually warned him, actually cautioned him, like, are you sure you want to go through with this thing? But he was like, yes, he was ready to lose his soul because he believed he is doing the right thing. That is scary. Number four, the story should revolve around your characters as much as possible. That needs to be said, because you see, most writers, they make this mistake of trying to cram in as many sub characters, side characters, and whatnot, to make their story interesting. And of course, when the side characters come, they also have their own stories. So they now towards the middle of the story, you become so confused, as in, what is going on? What is this? No, I'm not saying you should not put side characters. They are important, but try to minimize it. Try to focus more on the main characters, on those who the story revolves around. And if you must talk about the side characters, make sure that whatever you say is related, is somehow related to that, somehow complements that main character. It shouldn't just be a story that has no connection to the main character. No, it must be related somehow. Even what happened to the side character when they were a child or something, it has something to do with the way they are behaving now in relations to the main character. So do not go straight too far from the main character. Number five, good physical description. Again, you need to describe your character in such a way that your reader will be able to visualize them, will be able to see them. It will be as if they are watching a movie. And even better, you need to give your main character some distinctive features, so that even when you don't mention their name, even when you are just talking about what they are doing without mentioning their name, your reader should be able to tell that, yes, you are talking about so person, because of maybe say, a certain scar they have, or a certain limb, or maybe their mannerism, the way they talk, the way they just something that is unique to your character. And each main character should have something. They should have something like that. It creates a connection between the reader and the character. Therefore, in conclusion, memorable characters are important in order to grab your reader's attention and get them so invested that they will read the story to the end, just to find out what happens to them. Therefore, you need to focus on understanding who your characters are. Live with them, breathe with them, sleep, dream about your characters. Know them like the back of your hand. Know them so well that you can be able to describe them in such a way that the person, it's like painting a picture with your words. Make them find out what makes them tick, their dreams and fears, and most importantly, what goal that they hope to achieve, and put yourself in their shoes. Ask yourself, what will you do? How far you will go to get to get to that goal? And that is how you will be able to write and express it as much as possible. Express it in such a way that your reader will be able to understand and digest it and visualize that character. That's what makes a good story. I hope you learned a thing or two from today's podcast. If you did, please check out my other podcast on creative writing series on YouTube and my website, hadizabagudu.com. Thank you for listening and have a great day. Please check out the podcast on YouTube. I've made it easier for everybody to be able to get to the podcast. It's on YouTube. Just type Hadiza Bagudu or Creative Writing by Hadiza Bagudu, and all the podcasts will come up. There are three so far. When you listen to them, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.